position of actually agreeing with him. I think race doesn't belong on the Board of Education either. I don't think that anybody should be coming down here calling our board chairman a racist. I don't think groups should be coming down from Hartford and putting on demonstrations out front and calling Norwalk ground zero for racism. I don't think we should be described as the Ferguson of Connecticut. So I agree with you, Mr. Mosley. Thank you very much for making that point. I'd also like to thank all the families that came out, parents, the teachers' organizations, the parent-teachers organizations. I think you're going to make the difference. And the only way you can make the difference is at the voting booth. So I encourage you to vote when the time comes. Vote for the right person. I'm not advocating for Republican or Democrat. Vote for the right person. Thank you.
And on deck is Miss Regina Crummell.
Thank you for the privilege of addressing you tonight. I'm Bill Crummell, 34-year-old resident of 21 Little Fox Lane, past president, Norwalk State Technical College, past president, Bridgeport Engineering Institute, founding dean of the engineering school at Fairfield University. I am surprised that we don't seem to be looking forward what it is we have to do. Someone has mentioned that not to remember history is to be doomed to repeat it. What were the mistakes that were made in this process that we should not repeat going forward? I submit to you that the first mistake is lack of transparency. I remember a meeting that was called by the board. They were interviewing the proposed candidate for superintendent. It was a closed meeting. Gentlemen and ladies, that's intolerable.
Yes.
That leads to the kind of mistake that has been made here. There must be open meetings all the time. This is a democracy. We appreciate dissent. We appreciate criticism. We want to hear all sides. And the successful executive is able to take care of that, is able to surmount that, take that into their program, and move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, do not look for scapegoats. We must have dissidents. We must have criticism. There will always be people taking another side. And we go forward on that basis. So looking forward to the item on your agenda tonight for the RFP for the consultant, I think you have to focus on the ability of the proposed candidate to handle dissidents, to handle a school district that seems to have problems, to build upon that and make a successful entrepreneur. I think you must emphasize openness, you must emphasize tolerance, and you must emphasize that you are going to have people that are going to be critical of you, and you move forward on that basis. Thank you.
After Regina Crummell is Martha Dumas. Is she here?
My name is Regina Crummell. I spent 15 years in the City University organizing an educational program.
I'm sure your address is the same. I just needed
Oh,
the record.
21 Wood Farm.
I'm sure you live together.
Dr. William Crummell, 21 Little Fox Lane.
Thank you.
And I'm a friend of Peter Turan.
Thank you. I don't know if that's going to help you much.
I think the last two speakers have made the most powerful statements I've heard tonight. And I think we have to take this very seriously. I spent 15 years as a teacher in the City University of New York working on Rikers Island Prison with the young men who were brutalized and who were sent there as juveniles. I've been watching the events in Ferguson and I'm saying, do we want to be such a place? This is a divisive city. We have allowed it to be. We, white people, are responsible for divisiveness. We can't have scapegoats. And we cannot say, oh, we've been wonderful. In Layton and Belle Island, where they don't want to talk to the other people in District E, it's a divisive city, and it's time that we reach out to each other and we recognize that we stop scapegoating people on the Board of Education whose viewpoint might be speaking of one we don't know about. We have two cultures in this city, at least, and we have to start bridging these gaps and recognizing that all we PTOs and white people living in grand splendor here do not know about suffering, and that we listen to other people. And unless we have open meetings for choosing the administration of the Board of Education, yes, and the superintendent of schools, we will have this time and time again. Who comes to these meetings? Very few people. So I think we should stop criticizing 3 people on the Board of Education, and we should applaud the fact that they've had the courage to be divisive, because that is what democracy is all about. Thank you.
And after Ms. Dumas, we have Lorena Davison.
My name's Martha Dumas, and I reside at 162 South Main Street. That's in South Norwalk, Connecticut. And I'd like to also say this before I get started, because it's something that I noticed tonight so far, that everyone that has come to this mic tonight, everyone that has spoken, live outside of South Norwalk. So it's our community that might have the issue because of the blacks and the Hispanic and the more diversity in that area. And it's a fact that everyone don't learn the same. I also was a daycare teacher for toddlers for a nonprofit, and I learned a lot from toddlers. We was also taught in our classes at NCC the difference on how children learn. But I'm going to say right now, I was shocked, not really surprised of the resignation, but shocked at some people who made comments that 3 people is the cause of Dr. Rivera's decision. As a leader, you have to lead. You run across many obstacles with parents, community leaders, board members, and for some to think that 3 people would be the cause of this, to me, is people thinking small. Because I'm sure it's not the 3 that's running him out of line. He might have his own agenda. Board members elected from their community to work for their community. And the comment that Ms. Laura made, we're not stupid in our community. We elect people that we know will fight for us and try to get things across for us, because our children are the ones that are lacking.
3 seconds.
So, your comment, let me tell you, we are very well educated in our community.